3 Idaho universities decided to close their diversity, equity, and inclusion centers on campus to align with a resolution the State Board of Education passed in December banning DEI centers on college campuses. Aspen Shumpert has been following the story from the start, and today one of the 6 centers at the University of Idaho said goodbye to a big piece of history.
Jude, the Women's Center has been on the U of I campus for 52 years. People from throughout its entire 5-decade life came together today to give it a formal goodbye.
We're losing a lot of extremely important programs and sources of support for students, staff, and faculty on our campus.
Today, the University of Idaho said goodbye to 52 years of history in its Women's Center.
I'm grieving deeply the closing of the Women's Center. I've loved working here. We have done incredible work for the campus and community.
The UI Women's Center closed its doors in December as a casualty of the State Board of Education's recent ban on diversity, equity, and inclusion offices in higher education and anticipated legislation.
The state of Idaho has not been supportive of these initiatives on university campuses, and these programs have been under attack for many years, and so it wasn't a surprise.
Director Lisa Salisbury says it was a center that provided resources, including education, a food pantry, and financial support, just to name a few.
Students, staff, and faculty who have experienced trauma have been able to come here and seek support and advocacy for any traumatic experience that they have had.
It was also one of the longest standing active women's centers in the country.
It gives me a lot of sadness and pain to think of how hard people fought for this place to exist.
Salisbury has mixed emotions saying goodbye to that.
It's a huge blow.
But today, longtime staff, alumni, and students got to celebrate together the closing of an era.
There were folks here who were involved in the Women's Center in its earliest days.
Like Joy Pazinante.
I arrived in town straight from graduate school in New York in August of 1973, and one of the first things I did was find the Women's Center. I arrived literally barefoot and pregnant.
And current students at the university.
Seeing the impact very loud and clear, so it really feels like we're just disregarding everything in the last half century and just moving completely backwards.
Salisbury says she fears for the future of support systems on campus, but she's proud to have been a piece of that support for several years.
There are many, many people on our campus who have dedicated their lives to serving students, and I know that students will find them wherever they are.
We will continue to watch how this affects students and if they feel they're still getting the support that they had before these centers closed. Jude, I think it's important. Maybe we check in with them at the end of the semester to see how this is going.
And Aspen, there was a DEI bill proposed yesterday at the State House. Is that related to this at all?
There was a DEI bill proposed yesterday that would essentially do the same thing by banning DEI offices on campuses. And that the resolution already passed, and campuses decided to take action to align with that. So not much would change, but we'll continue to also see if that gets introduced formally here soon.
All right. Thank you, Aspen. We'll be back with more after this.